Today I am hanging out with a very special artist here in the River City that is setting everything on fire in the best way. So here today we have Caitlin Flames, a fire artist and dancer in the area. Now, Caitlin, can I tell you actually how I found out about you?
I would love to know, actually, yes, please.
So I found a card that had this beautiful background of a girl that had these fire fans on it, and I just said, I need to know more about what this girl does, and I need to have her on the show. So I tracked her down and brought her in so that we could see what you do up close in person. But how did you get to this point? How did you, first of all, conquer a fear of literally dancing with fire? I've seen this girl hold it, spin it, fan it, flip it, bop it, and you do it beautifully. But how did you get to this point?
Well, first of all, mental note that the stickers are working, that those stickers are finding their way into people's pockets. But really, it was just something that fell in my lap. So I actually moved to Jacksonville about 2 years ago, and I was really just looking for a community of people that wanted to go to concerts, and I hula hooped at the time. No fire, sans the fire. And I just found a beautiful community of people who also dance with fire, and I just was like, I want to do that. I never was a dancer as a kid or did any formal gymnastics or anything like that. So it was like my chance to go for what I always wanted. And I've just like not looked back. It's been my hobby ever since.
I love that the hula hoop was the gateway artistry that got you to this point.
It always is the hula hoop. Any flow artist you can ask, it's always the hula hoop that gets us to intertwine. But we have so many of those perpendicular communities in Jax. We have our dancers and our flow artists that don't do fire, and then we have our fire artists or aerialists. It's such a beautiful community.
So let's talk about the different mediums that you have, because you do have a bunch of different tools that you use in your performances for both public, private, corporate events. I mean, you perform all over the city, all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just really depends on the vibe of the event, but we would call them props. Mm-hmm. So the different props that I will spin or dance with is fire eating, of course. I have, of course. We have palm torches, which we consider like small fire. We hold them in our hands like this. And then we have the big fire fans, which you commented that usually have 4 or 5 wicks on each fan. And then I also do spin the dragon staff, and I'm getting into the hula hoop on fire, but we're really starting that out slow. In addition to that, there's also fire bubbles and just a whole world of things that you can do with fire. But those are the modalities that I like to perform with the most.
So you mentioned that you really got involved with the community. How did you work your way into that? Because I'm sure people are watching you do what you do. They think it's very impressive. Don't do it at home. She even has a safety buddy that comes with her to all the events. So I don't want emails after this saying, I tried this and here's what happened. So you're a professional at what you do, but you took some steps to get there. So what would you tell somebody who is interested in getting involved in this?
Absolutely. So step 1 is just meeting people that are into the same thing as you are, and don't think that be too big for your britches. Like, message that person on Instagram that you think has no clue who you are, has 15,000 followers, because the chances are that they're so passionate about what they do that got them to that point. So don't be afraid to connect, because connecting is number 1. And then I think the other half of the equation of getting started is confidence, of course, but to really know that you're going to have to invest in fire safety and fire safe clothing and the time and the energy to get the education from people who are doing it the right way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned connecting. How can we connect with you if somebody wants to book with you, or if somebody wants to learn more about your craft? What should they do?
Thank you so much. So you can go onto my Instagram, which is @flirtingwithflames, or www.flirtingwithflames.com. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. Just how I said, don't be afraid to reach out to your community, but don't be afraid to reach out to me either, even if you're just curious.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your passion with us, letting us get an inside look at what you do right here at the studio. So keep setting the River City aflame with all of your great artistry. Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Thank you. I plan on it. Thank you for having me.